and I just open it and I just start, dumping stuff into it. And it's typically just one word stream of consciousness, and it'll be as fundamental as this sounds, it's stuff that I'm grateful for in that immediate moment. At the top of that list is always my son, my partner, and my dog. It's just kind of the way it goes. But then I tend to look around and go, you know what? I feel good that that person let me cut in front of them in line. I feel, um, and again, you're sort of feeding your brain with what you want it to find more of. The other key thing I think I do throughout the day is I'll do one of two things. I will either just stop and take a deep breath because it's just a pause, or I will stop and I'll take a big swig of Diet Coke, which I generally never have too far away, which is a terrible health habit. If you have
Yes,
water,
Diane.
water, whatever your beverage of choice is during the day, coffee, and then but really be in the moment of what you're drinking. Like I'll take a swig of water and go, wow, that was really cold. It felt good going down my throat. It
Mhm.
literally takes less than 30 seconds and
Mm.
you can really pivot your day that quickly.
Mm. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
I love that. My friend April says so. She does Tai Chi Cha Dwai, and it's all about feeling grounded and in your feet. And I never understood what any of that meant. And it's Brian, this would be another thing that would help you, like when you get in a way or something like that. The idea there is just that it just brings you right into the present moment. Like
Right.
feel where you are standing in your feet. Like how simple is
Yeah.
that? And that what you just said, Diane, it goes along the same lines as that. And it's so
Mhm.
funny because I don't really drink the Celsiuses. I don't really think that they really wake me up at all. I really don't. But I was like really in the mood for one today. Like, so I went and I got one and I literally like closed my eyes. It reminded me of my niece who like loves food so much. And she's like, oh my God, her eyes roll the back of her head when she's eating, taking a
She
bite.
savors
5 years
it.
old. It is the cutest thing. And I really felt like that. So it's funny that you said that because like that's something that I will remember to do.
Mhm.
Like drink the full glass of water down. Like, can you imagine being on stranded on a desert island? You know what it feels like when you are so thirsty, like, you know what I mean? So they're such little things, but they're
Yeah.
so powerful. I love it.
And I have a friend of mine who constantly says, check in and make sure your head is where your feet are. And 9 times out of 10, our head is not where our feet are. Our head is someplace different. It's
Mm.
thinking about the next thing we got to do or what we got to
Yeah.
do this weekend or the phone call we need to return. And if you can just have
Ah,
some little physical signal to yourself to pull yourself back to where you are, what can start to feel from the outside very overwhelming, from the
mm,
outside in, you can now from the inside out go, okay, hold on a minute. I'm just going to be just here for 30 seconds. And all of a sudden, it just turns the temperature down on everything else. That's the
yeah, I
best
always
way I can
feel like
describe it.
my body moves much faster than my brain, and then I'm like always trying to like catch up to what am I like some people are faster and have delays one way or another. That's how I am now. So yeah. Who else wants to say something or add or ask? I don't know if I want to encourage Johnny. Johnny's in my group here. I work with Johnny. I've worked with him like for 16 years before COVID. I have him in here in an effort to like bring that other piece of like the workout world because he's like daytime supervisor at the Y, always has been. Johnny, I feel like specifically for you, I will say this talk here is very good for you, and I think that you should definitely do Wednesday, Thursday, Friday at 12.
I figured you'd say that,
You
but
know, I'm going to call you out. Give
okay,
her a
well,
sense of yourself, Johnny, but make it 2 minutes and no more.
okay. So all the things she's saying, I believe it, but I sometimes things make me get so out of myself that I just want to just walk away, you know. I mean, a lot of things that are going on in my life are out of my control
Mhm.
altogether. But it sort of makes me feel like I'm helpless in a sense, and I'm stuck with my own feelings about it. Um, like you talking about, give yourself some positive affirmation in the morning. Um, but then day starts, and then all the things that you don't like, you start to see it, and it's like it's kind of hard to block that out. So I just try
Well,
to stay
let
with
me challenge you on something you said and see how these two sentences land with you, okay?
that.
So the first sentence is, there is a lot going on in my life, but I'm helpless.
I just feel it. I
Okay.
know.
The second sentence is, there's a lot going on in my life and I'm helpless. Do those two feel differently to you?
Sort of. I mean, I know I could do stuff differently as far as how I deal with stuff in my
Hmm.
brain. You know, my brain works kind of weird, I guess, but you know, I'm very capable of doing what I have to do. It's just that when I'm put in a position where I have to deal with people that don't do what they're supposed to do, then that just eats me up, you know. And then
Yeah.
that's when my whole attitude changes throughout the day. I'm like, oh, I just got to get out of here.
Well, I'm
You
going to
know?
take a page out of Mel Robbins' most recent book, which if you haven't read it, I highly recommend it.
Mhm.
What if you, because you commented yourself that there's a certain portion of things in our lives every day that are completely beyond our control, but yet we give a lot of energy over to those things. So what if you just let them? That's the premise of her most recent book, and it's a really good one. And hopefully, I'm going to do it justice explaining it here. But is to just go, you know what? Let them. They're not taking responsibility for what they need to do. Let them. Let me take responsibility for what I need to do and what I can control. But let them ha own the other piece of it, because you're not in control of it anyway. So anything that you recognize you don't have the control to impact, affect, or change, let the person who really does, let them own it. It sounds to me like you're taking ownership of things that aren't yours to solve. So if you can just train yourself to go, is this a let them situation? Should I let somebody else just be themselves? But I'm going to be over here doing my thing and rocking who I am.
You know what? You're very right about that, and maybe I should start thinking, let them, you
Mhm.
know,
Johnny, I
because
literally told you about this book and I learned it from you guys in the group, Diane, to let them.
Yeah,
And I shared it with my aunt, my cousins. They're like, oh my God, yeah, this is the best book ever. And I was like telling Miranda about it, my daughter.
yeah.
I'm getting it for her for her birthday. And I know I mentioned this to you. I was like, this sounds like such a great book. Like,
Yeah, and it's by far the best book she's written, and I've read them all. Um,
you guys write that down,
but
Brian.
this is yeah, it's called The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins,
Mm-hmm.
and it is a really powerful tool
Mm.
in work, in personal relationships. It really, I know for me, has helped me turn a corner to not take ownership of things that were never mine to carry to begin with.
I love that. I love
Yeah.
it. Johnny
I
loves it
get
too.
it.
He's clapping his hands. Yay! I think we finally converted Johnny. It took Diane to do it.
Hey, I get it.
Long
Somebody said,
16 years.
Yeah.
let them. Okay, I'll let them.
Yeah.
Gene
That's
So
and
it.
for
you
you,
guys.
the visual symbol is a post-it note everywhere, like on a computer screen, on a mirror, wherever you in the car. I
Yes.
had one in my car for a while. It was
Yeah,
I
just
better
on the
put one in my
dashboard,
car then.
and then just said, and in your case, it should just say let them. I
that's
said something
them.
different at the time, but just say let them, just the visual reminder. It's why actually she's spawned a worldwide phenomenon of getting tattoos that say that. I'm not saying you got to
Really?
go that far.
No.
I know. I
No.
don't have any tattoos, but
Yeah, I
I
don't
might
either.
actually.
But if I got one, that might be it.
I
So,
know, right?
yeah.
All right. Well, does
Okay.
anyone else have anything else to mention or add before we go? Sue is here, but she's on mute. Sometimes she has trouble getting off of mute. But Sue, I just want to acknowledge Sue for a second to you, Diane, because if Sue is not the most unbelievable person, she battles all kinds of sicknesses, illnesses, cancers, and she's at the barn working out every day.
Nice.
It's just unbelievable. Like she just never stops. And she always gets on here as well. And sometimes the microphone goes or doesn't, but I mean, like I know that Sue will like loves this even if her microphone's not on because I'll talk to her about it later. But she also gets a kick out of Johnny. She thinks Johnny is like hysterical. Just because Johnny's usually one of disgust and says whatever he really is thinking. And I'm like, come on, Johnny, you're supposed to be a motivator here. But we're all real, so it's cool. My sister was supposed to be on here, and I know she wasn't feeling well, but I have the recording for everyone. Nora, I'm surprised Nora's not here. She said she was coming. And Jim, Bill too. But anyway, I have this here for those who weren't able to, so that this will land on our page. And it's also out there, Diane, in the free group. I can't thank you enough. Like,
Oh, you're very welcome. It's my pleasure. And Jennifer's going to share the link, and the 3-day event is free. So if you want to dig just a little bit deeper into some of this stuff, you can register, even if you can't attend at the 12 to 1 time slot. If you register, you'll get the link with the recording. So
I love that.
Okay.
Do you guys think that that would be something that you would do? Because you guys have nothing to lose. I always tell, like when I do the instructional videos and stuff like that, I like to tell these guys, I'm like, I know your time, you don't have a lot of time, stuff like that, but a lot of this stuff, if you just listen to it in the car, if you've committed to the program, like listen to this instead of your favorite podcast. It's like this program is 12 weeks long, it comes, it goes. Like, listen to this stuff while it's here. Take advantage of it. This is like a huge thing right now. And so, as you can see, I mean, I wouldn't have had Diane on if I really didn't think that I didn't get, but I got like a whole ton of stuff out of just listening to her. So, I think you guys should really consider this too. And I have the link up there. And yeah,
That's
so
good. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you,
Diane.
thank
Diane.
you.
Thank
Really
you,
good. Yeah.
Diane. I'm just gonna let them.
That's absolutely right. Get yourself a copy of the book too.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. We'll
all right,
look
bye,
forward.
you guys.
Thanks, Jennifer.
Diane.
You're
Bye-bye.
welcome. Diane, stay on for a second. I'm
Okay.
wording.